According to the Vedic texts, there are 8 types of marriages. You know, they are from, marriage is coming together of a young man and young woman. But there can be a lot of background to that event. On one spectrum, they are both have consented. They both have seen and evaluated each other and found the compatibility and desire to live together rest of the life. And also probably their parents and others, they also are in attendance, at least in the wedding. So this is on one extreme. And then on another extreme, it is as if somebody forcibly takes away another family's woman and under gunpoint or something like that, forces her to marry him. So in between there are wide spectrum. So there is like sometime there is inducement. The girl's father may give some money to a particular young man that you marry my daughter, what has become nowadays as a dowry. So, there are a lot of in-between possibilities. There could be also somebody has raped a woman and then the court says that you should marry her. There are various possibilities how a young man and young woman have come together. And now they are living under one roof. Whether you approve it or not, they are married people, is it not? So, what do others think? That is immaterial. Two young people, men and women, they can walk into the city office or village office or whatever is local authorities, sign some paper, and they are proclaimed, declared as husband and wife. So these are all kinds of background. There is a shlok in Manusmriti that describes these 8 types of marriages. Okay, that was the background to the question. Now the question is, please classify virtual meetings and online dating with regard to Vedic norms. In Vedic norm, uh, both young man and young woman should be consenting parties and they are above certain age. Minimum age in India by law probably is 18 for girl and 21 for boys. But if we read from Satyat Prakash, the 16 is girls' age minimum and 25 is boys' age. So whatever it is, they should agree and they choose each other. And indeed, the privilege is with the woman. So they have, in classical time, they used to call it Swayamvar, particularly in the royal families. Like Sita, when she became young woman of marriageable age, then her father, who is a king, he invites all the princes. Then Sita, there is particular criteria, and there are multiple princes, 20 plus, and then it is Sita's privilege whom to choose. those 20 boys who have come, they, by the very fact they have come there, they are expressing their willingness to marry the particular girl, but they are more than, she needs only one actually, and there are 20 or so. So she fixes, she points out or she declares a particular benchmark criteria, and the one who succeeds in that to the greatest extent, she chooses him to be her husband. So the point I am trying to make is, in classical time, the girl had a choice to make. But nowadays we see many times a boy looks around many and he seems to indicate as if he is selecting the out of 5 or 10 proposals he has had. But anyway, whatever is the reason, uh, now the question is, selecting each other requires some sort of a scrutiny, some sort of background checks, some sort of communication, direct communication between young man and young woman, and also, through indirect sources. All that is very valid. And in that process, even if the meeting is virtual, if they are long distance, far away, and due to a common friend or due to a website, they have somehow seen each other's biodata, each other's resume, whatever life story. So they have to go further. They have to see each other's photograph. They have to get to know each other well. And for that, like this kind of a video meeting and all this is very valid. In Vedic terminology, anything fair is fair game. If we welcome the technology and its proper use. So nowadays, it's very possible young man is in another continent, young woman is in another continent, and they of course have to know each other. And at a very last moment, they will probably like to see also each other, have some personal talk, and try to understand what are the perspectives of life. All sorts of compatibility must be measured. Otherwise, the matrimonial alliance may not be very good. So these are time-tested procedures. This is an aspect where humanity has been concerned right from the beginning. So Grihastha Ashram and giving rise to the birth of children, this has been happening right from the generation 1. So there are good norms about that, and we are not against anything. So meeting and talking and getting to know each other is all very fair, and of course has to happen. But nowadays there are a lot of pitfalls through the website. Then I don't have to go into all this. You know it better. There are misrepresentations also. So, we have to be careful. Any other question? There was a question by, I see one of the questioner. I did answer it, but I think I misunderstood the question that day, because I think the question was, can spirituality make somebody, unbalanced from the worldly point of view. Is that so? I think that was a question, I think 2 weeks ago, that if somebody becomes, the concern is probably if somebody becomes very spiritual, then he or she may not pay attention to the worldly affairs, worldly family responsibilities, and many other things. So I probably misunderstood that question that particular day. So let me take that question next few minutes. And in the meanwhile, you can come up with some other questions. So this I am doing just to fill in the time. But it is a very, very important, relevant question in modern times. So, we, from Vedic point of view, spirituality has to be understood properly. Otherwise, today, common man thinks spirituality is like going to a place of worship, is it not? If somebody visits a place of worship, he is considered or he considers himself as spiritual. So we are using a particular definition of spirituality. And from that point of view, I would like to answer this question. So, if I look at my own self, what is, yeah, now the question has been rephrased. I think this is much better. So the question is, let me read it out. What you would tell those people who are afraid to get into spirituality, thinking they have to give up on some things in life? This is a very precise question and very important, because at least my intention always is to impress upon every individual, even children, that we have to become spiritual. Now, first fear I have always is when I use the word spirituality, I always fear if I will be misunderstood. So I will describe, let me answer this question, and within the answer, my idea of spirituality will also be spelled out. So spirituality for me is something beyond my body and mind. So let's go step by step. If say I enjoy eating a food, something is very delicious to me. Now, being spiritual does not mean I don't enjoy eating that food. What it means is I still balance my food consumption. I remind myself that I eat to live and I don't live to eat. So that principle will allow me to enjoy the food, but in the right measure, is it not? I don't overeat, or I don't eat certain things that may harm my health, is it not? Because being spiritual means I am more than the body. I am the owner of the body. So just like I am the owner of the car, I would like it to be in a functional, good condition. In the same manner, I would like my body to be in a good, healthy condition, as well as good strength and all that. And beyond that, I am concerned about my mind also, because I know it. My overall health and wellness is not just related to body, but is related to with my composition of my mind also. If I don't have peace of mind, if I am disturbed, then that is also not good for me, and that does harm to me. So being spiritual encourages me to think I am beyond my mind. I am, it is my mind, and I want to have its proper ownership. And when I have proper ownership, then I want to take its proper care also, is it not? So beyond mind, whatever is that, that is me. And that I will say, that is one factor of my spirituality. So spirituality tells me that I am beyond body and mind, and my body and mind are my assets, my instruments, and I good take their good care and want to use them. It's so simple. But that consciousness, that mind, is something beyond my mind. We can call it as myself, my soul, my atma, my heart also, whatever you want to call it. That is uh, one arm of spirituality. That is related to my system as such. But then I become more exploratory. I have deeper questions in my life because I want to seek out more from my life, including what is the purpose of my life. Why am I in this world? Who has sent me into this world? And where will I go from here? So, that is another inquiry I want to do it. Now, as I do it, I come to a conjecture. I will call it a conjecture. I cannot prove it. Make a conjecture like as if this system is owned by a non-material consciousness and who is using it. Likewise, there is infinite non-material consciousness that is running the affairs of the world, that we human beings cannot do that. So I did not choose my parents. I did not choose my date and time of birth. Some of my parameters have been imposed upon me. So there is a superior force who is running the show, the entire world, and also who has decided that I should be born in this family at this time also. So, there are two consciousness. One is mine, which is very tiny consciousness and is using this system of body and mind. And then there is an infinite consciousness that whatever name you call it, you may say it is nature or it is Ishwar or whatever it is. So spirituality has these two elements. And then, I want to say this is not quite in the purview of religions. This is actually a scientific thinking. So if it is a scientific thinking, there should be an evidence for it. And that is why we give a lot of importance to meditation. So in meditation, I am trying to bring my mind calm, absolutely blank, and then I am left with something that is not nothing. It is not nothingness like in deep sleep. It is slightly different from deep sleep when I am in deep meditation. It is some sort of self awareness. And then I say, that is me. So, meditation is very important from our philosophical point of view because that is the way to gain evidence for my consciousness and that of that Ishwar also. So that's why we say ours is, we look at spirituality as a scientific thing and we would like modern science to adopt it and explore in this direction. I am sure, confident that they will also conclude in the way we concluded. So what I was saying was, in meditation, when I am disconnect from my mind, then I am that we call a self-realization. That is me. And then when I am always doing many times, I always find that that is a very pleasant experience. If it is always a pleasant experience, then I ask a question, what is that absolute pleasure that I get deep in meditation? So, we give it a special name. It is called Anand because it is always good when I am there. So, our Vedic rishis have asked this question, if that Anand was my own attribute, then I will always be in Anand. Then I will not go through ups and downs of life, is it not? Because that is my own. But that is not true. So he says that proves that deep in meditation, I am with someone else who is Ananda Swarup, So that becomes at the second level, deep meditation becomes an evidence for Ishwar also that he is Ananda Swarup, and when I am with him, I get a taste of that. So spirituality is not something to do with religions. This is verifiable. One can validate it. Now coming back to this question, I have already covered one part of it, that I don't forego the pleasures of life. I still enjoy food, etc. But I add something more than that, is it not? I look for, say, a new kind of pleasures, which is from good quality sleep, good quality meditation, etc. Then changes my attitude also, because I realize the mechanism is there. These affairs are being governed by a superior force, and then I try to relate, I try to connect to him. That way, I look at the whole world. It is just not the just worldly material world. It is his world, so to say. So that can transform my life in the sense. The point I am trying to make is, I will, say you go to you and your family stay in a hotel for a few days, The hotel is well managed, they take care of all your needs, everything is fine, Now, in your home also, you get food and all that thing, what you get in the hotel. So you have experience of both living certain days in a hotel or in a home, in your own home. So I would like to say, when you connect to the other aspect, larger aspect of spirituality, then your whole life becomes different. That now you are not living in a hotel like situation, as if you are living in that supreme consciousness, it's home, So now your life is not like you have checked into a hotel and then you will be checking out, but you make it happen as if you are living in his home, So that way you look at everything in a very different manner. All other people are also connected to you because they are also the children of that same Ishwar. Now the air, water, earth, all the ecological, environmental issues, they become your home affairs. Like you don't waste anything in your home, is it not? You don't break anything in your home. You respect everybody. You respect the environment. You respect even animals and birds, is it not? So spirituality transforms your own life and your perspective towards all other beings, human beings, animals, birds, and towards the environment. And then you live as if you are living in a home and not in a hotel where you are very disconnected, is it not? You are just enjoying for your sake, but you don't connect to all the workers or all the managers of the hotel. But when you connect to Ishwar, your attitude is very different. So, I am looking at spirituality in a very different manner, which is not common with religions. And this is what is taught by our classical literature. And I am very confident this is more on the side of science, in the sense that if modern science is supplemented with the concept of non-physical consciousness, then it will be nothing but Vedic philosophy. And I am quite confident they will realize it, that the very intrinsic consciousness of ours is something non-physical. Because so many physical things, they don't exhibit consciousness. So it became slightly long answer, but I want to assure that the true spirituality will make you enjoy all that common man does, plus you will seek more out of that, the inner happiness, more of that kind. Otherwise, your life is very superficial, you know. Very good question. It has a lot of meaning in the modern context. Thank you for this. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, the next question is, let me read it. Can you please explain different states of Chitta? This is a very philosophical question. I really admire it because and how it is influenced by the nature, by the nature, because Chitta is a very particular principle of our mind. Okay, now it is, I have, it's a very good question. What we call mind is referred to as antahkarana in Vedic philosophy, and our body is called as bahyakarana. The term karana uh, means, sadhan, so to say. So instruments. So the body instruments are outer instruments, and the mind is inner instrument. Whenever we use the term mind, you have to be careful. Don't get confused with brain, In Vedic philosophy, brain is a housing, within which me and my mind are residing. So brain is basically providing the connectivity with the body organ. So brain is more part of the body than with the mind. So mind is a very, very subtle thing, though it is made of material particles, but these are very like subatomic particles, so to say. So within this antakaran, there are three components. They are, if this is me, the owner of mind, then the closest to me is buddhi. Then next is ahankar, and then next is manas. This we have discussed in a previous session. So if you see the YouTube recordings, you will find it. So I don't have to describe all this again. And buddhi is our discriminative ability. That's what I am always watching. Now, when it is not functioning and discriminative ability performing at its full potential, it is in a more subtle manner, then the same instrument is given another name called chitta. This becomes very relevant for meditation, because in meditation we broadly say, let's become, let's move from thoughtfulness to thoughtlessness. That means I am bringing cessation of buddhi operation. But even if discriminative ability is not functioning, something is always popping out from the middle unit. That is my storage device, and it just appears here. So this instrument is not working at its full potential. I am not thinking anything. but still something is appearing here, then this instrument is called a chitta, and whatever appears here is called chitta vritti. So Patanjali describes meditation and all this chitta vritti nirodha, how to subdue, whatever is appearing here, so that this is blank. And in answer to the previous question, I was saying, when this is blank, then I get to know my own self, that is self realization. And then I went to the second level, that I go very often there, which is not that easy, but that's what our objective is. And I always find it pleasant. Then I said, this particular pleasure is not mine, it is from that Ishwar, So this is the experimentation a scientist has to do to conclude that yes, I am something beyond my mind, and then there is some infinite cause. Now coming back to this question, Chitta, what are its different states? So Vyas, who is writing a commentary on Patanjali Yoga Darshan, right at the first statement, At Yoganusasana, he is saying Chitta has 5 possible states. The Sanskrit terms are Kshipta, Mood, Vikshipta, Ekagya, and Niyuddha. These are Sanskrit terms. These are 5, I will use 5 fingers. Kshipta means it is very, very active mode, like a child, child doesn't sit quiet easily. So even child's mind is very much fast wavering here and there. Chitta is fast moving. Now the mood is when it is thoroughly dull, like deep in sleep, or late in the evening, it goes into dullness. So that is mood. Now Vikshipt it is quite fast, like a student in a classroom. He thinks here and there, but once in a while he's paying attention to the teacher, So Vikshipt is slightly like Shipta, but it can be channelized with some effort, So like at this point, our Chitta is Vikshipta, I am thoughtfully speaking, you are listening to me, but once in a while our mind may be distraction, once in a while. So in meditation practice, these two are useless. If your chitta is in these states, like you are sleepy or you are very disturbed, something, your wife is in operation room and you are outside waiting, you are now in crypt mode, is it not? You cannot think straight at that point of time. So these two states you are not advised to sit for meditation. This person is okay, you can try it. So, so we call in Patanjali's language, this is called as Vyuthan. Vyuthan this is not very conducive for meditation. But this person can make effort and become Ekagya is 1.8. And Nirodha is when it's thoroughly, subdued. Nothing is there on the chit. So, like when we talk about Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, so we say after Pratyadharana concentration, try to go in Ekagya mode. And that concentration becomes meditation when it is really Ekagya, and then Samadhi when there is nothing else. So these are the exercises we want to do it. So these are the 5 states of Chitta. These 2 are not very good for meditation purpose. Here, this person, if he is very motivated, yes, he can practice it. And then he has to go first to the Ekagya state, then Nirodha state. So this is the journey here. Now, as I said, Chitta is made of matter. These are material principles. And in Vedic philosophy, Matter is in its very equilibrium state. It is described as there is three modes, so to say, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and they are in equipoise, some sort of equilibrium. And that is very base state of matter. And the very first principle that is made out of that matter is this buddhi. Actually, the general term is mahat, but when it is used as my inner instrument, it is a buddhi, which is, so, since I am using the term mahat, I have to say, so a particular mahat, which is very rich in sattva, is, so that maker, the Ishwar, whoever has done all this, he appoints or he uses a particular mahat for my buddhi, so to say. Because sattva now, sattva, just tamas, have many other connotations. So let's look at it, because the questioner knows quite a bit about it. That's why this question has been asked in this language. So when it is in Prakriti, before any evolutes are formed, then it is called Ghor, Shant, and Mood. So Sattva is called as Shant, which is like tranquil state of a river. Ghor is like when it is turbulent, and Mood is when the river is stagnant. So these are some ways to explain what is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So out of Prakriti is made this Buddhi, Mahat, a particular Mahat is Buddhi. Now Patanjali uses the term Sattva, Rajas, Tamas for Prakash, Kiya, Sthiti. So Sattva, he says, is going to give enlightenment. So this is my knowledge organ, discriminative ability, and that is the reason this has to be very rich in sattva. But this is also having some rajas. Sometimes I am high adrenaline, and when I am sleepy, then it has to have some tamas also. So Prakash Kiya Sthiti. Prakash this is enlightening mode. So this is basically a knowledge function. And also here I can take some action and then command goes outward. So when I use three fingers, I mean buddhi, ahankar, and man. Now those five fingers are gone, the five states of Chitta. Now Kriya means when this buddhi, when it is enlightening it and the owner gets a knowledge, that is its prakash mode, which is sattva mode. When I take a decision, then it gives a command here, then the action has to be switched on, triggered. Then it is in the Kiya mode. And when for some reason I am too tired, I have to sleep, then this is now tamas is dominating. So that is called sthiti. Now, the sattva, rajas, tamas has other connotation also. Now, when this is vritti is happening here, something is happening, then this is called as buddhi pati samvedi. Means he naturally, automatically comes to know whatever is here. As if there is a mirror image here, it just comes there. So that is, knowledge has been obtained by him. He knows that. He is the knower. So if knowledge has appeared here, I automatically know it. That is called buddhi vritti. Now, this is called bhog. When does it become bhog? When he embraces it, so to say. This is a higher order. When he is not detached, he is so much attached to it as if this is happening to himself. So this also I have described in one of the previous session. So buddhi vritti is becoming bhog vritti. Now when it is bhog vritti, now sattva will mean sukha, rajas will mean dukha, and tamas will mean moho, is it not? So you will hear different terminology, like शांत घोर mood in Prakriti, Prakash Kiya Sthiti at the level of Buddhi. Now its effect on Purush, this owner, can be Sukh, Dukh or Moh, and also Kapil is using the term Piti, Apiti, Moh. Piti is like, this is to his liking, Sattva is to his liking, Rajas is to his disliking, and Tamas is, of course, when you are fallen apart, you are. So these are very complex issues, but I am glad somebody is thinking about all this, and Vedic rishis have tried to give their own answers, but interpretations are not that easy. If you read modern literature, there is a lot of confusion also. That's what I can say at this point. Any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. We have some 10 minutes. We can have a, a small or medium. Oh, there is a big, there is something here. It is a paragraph. Let me read it, paragraph. Can we say that spirituality is like a universal love that connects all? The four Purusharth in life calls us to follow the path of Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha according to the different ashramas we are, from childhood, adolescent, adulthood and retirement. Does spirituality mean different for different ashrams, like the love which becomes complex in meaning and understand as we grow? How to stay in oneness, connectedness from every temptations of this human life while navigating this world of pains and pleasures and so on. So let's see. Spirituality, I will say this is a very good way. If you are good connected to your mother and father, you are very likely to love your brother and sister also, is it not? So if you love your mother and father, you will have good respect for your siblings or all the things in your household, because you don't want to hurt anything that may hurt your mother or father, is it not? So if you have that connectivity with Supreme Being, then you will have a universal love towards all beings, all that includes animals, birds, all species. So that sort of a depth does come into picture. And now the question is, for Purusharth in life calls us to follow Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha according to different ashram. Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha, all this is can be interpreted. If you are spiritual, you will follow his instructions, then you are on the path of Dharma. And sure, you have to have a survival, manage your family, so you will be active and will earn some livelihood. That will be your earth. Kam here is not Kam Vasana. Kam here is to enjoy the fruits of your dharma and earth. It is like say, you have earned bread and butter, but if you don't eat it well, that is not making sense, is it not? So you have to, if you have acquired the wealth, you have to make proper use also of it. You have to enjoy it also. So enjoy doesn't mean, I will say consumption is the right word, proper consumption. So dharma, arth, kam, and a consumption will be naturally, will be very moderate. If you know that your eventual uh, objective is moksha, which is very, very demanding. So that will set your dharma, arth, kam, everything. And moksha is, of course, if you are spiritual, then only you will set that as your life goal. And of course, all this goes through different phases of life. So it is dharma, kam, and moksha can be the same objectives, but in your childhood, brahmacharya ashram, in your householder life, in your retirement, your perspective will be different. Your immediate demands will be different. So, this is called as swadharma. Swadharma is, wherever you are, in what phase of life, and what is also varna. Are you a teacher? Are you a police officer? Or, that also determines what should be your dharma. Are you in business? Or, different career paths you have chosen. And then how to stay in, basically, if you have really understood this spirituality, and you are well connected, then these are very, it all happens by natural. Like, you don't teach much to a child. A child has a very good connectivity with his mother and father, and there is a very nice harmonious relationship. He can even look at his father's or mother's face and know what they are going through. Though they haven't gone through a school, a little child, but that two-way connectivity by genuine pure love, that makes everything clear. It is very easy for the harmony to develop if you have genuine love, and that is what is tested in meditation. Doing meditation, if all sorts of things are coming on your chitta, it means you love those things more than you love Ishwar, isn't it? Just like, for example, if you like a television program, if you are watching it maybe 25 minutes or maybe a movie for 2 hours, and you notice you like that and there is no distraction in those minutes and those hours, because you love it, is it not? But we don't have that sort of a easy go in meditation, because our love for Ishwar is still shaky, is it not? We say we love him, but that's what is tested. So that's why other things come in mind, when you are in meditation. So many things come in. But when we are watching the TV program, not that many things were coming as distraction. So, it's easy to say, I am spiritual, I am connected, this and that. But, the real test comes in meditation. So that's why meditation is evidence for Ishwar, and also you can test your love for Ishwar. So very good question. These are very practical issues. So I think, spirituality is a very wonderful thing, but somehow religions, I don't want to say bad words about religions, but still, due to this, religions have looked at in the wrong manner. So I think it is, we have seen it last almost 2000 years or 1800 years or whatever you call it. This has been age of religions, and humanity has suffered a lot. I think now it's good we are in age of science, but now I think science has to be slightly bold and explore what we want to say is Vedic concept of non-physical consciousness. And scientists should perform meditation and get that, feeling awareness what all this is. Because when as of now, scientists are doing experiment, but they ask a person to meditate, and that is the subject. Scientist is the subject, and that meditator is the object for him, is it not? But such a investigation will say that meditation is same as, not different from sleep. Now Actually, the scientist himself has to become both subject and object. Then he will know that meditation is different from sleep. You know, so I'm sure such things will happen, not much later, very sooner. Not too far into the future. I think we are in a very exciting, good phase of the world. Things will happen. Very positive things will happen in next couple of decades. Okay, it was a wonderful session, and look forward to meeting you again next week. And if you have already a question, write it down somewhere on your computer or phone, so you can just copy and paste it here. It becomes much easier. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Acharya-ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the information.
Most welcome.